LeBron James is arguably the best player in NBA history, and if he's not one, he's definitely top 2 or 3 to 99% of NBA fans, and clearly he's had a lot of success throughout his career, but some people do not think he could have that same success if he played in the 1990s. When I think of LeBron James, I don't think of a one-style player. I don't think of a slasher, a shooter, a scorer, a defender, a pass-first player. I just think of him as a jack of all trades, someone who is honestly good at every aspect of the game. A big part of his game, and obviously one of the most important parts, is that this man is athletic as hell. 6'9" frame, long, like I said, fast and strong as hell. And the crazy thing is, the reason he's so good isn't even because of all the things I just named. It's not just because his athletic ability. It's because he has the brain of a basketball god. What sets him apart from the rest, just he's 6'9", like I said, athletic as hell. But what puts him that much higher, because we've seen athletic 6'9", 6'8" guys. What puts him that much higher is his basketball IQ. He understands the game past a normal person's understanding of it. But what I will say is that I think his game suits today's NBA very, very well. For example, he's great at getting to the rim, strong and fast, and agile too. And when he gets to the rim, since most players in the NBA can shoot, now it seems like, there's always someone to kick to, and he has great court vision, so he can always drive and kick. It's one of his great, skills. There's many skills. One of his great skills is being able to kick so precisely right into the shooter's pocket to open shooters for easy buckets. But in the 1990s, the floor wasn't as spread as it is now. And a lot of the time nowadays, almost every player on the court can shoot, which is crazy. And obviously back then, it wasn't like that. I would say 1 out of 5 players can shoot decently well, allowing them to crash the paint more. So the paint was a lot more clogged in the 90s, obviously, because there weren't as many shooters. And since nowadays there are a lot more shooters, the floor is a lot more spread out. Like, for example, in 2021, there were 31 players who averaged over 20 points a game. And in 1993, there were just 19 players. So what I think when I look at this information is that the better players are scoring at higher rates now than they were back then. And a reason for that is because they have more space. The better players have more space to do what they want because there's more shooters on the court, meaning defenders have to, stick to the shooters and they can't play help defense. Like back then, they collapsed the defense almost every time someone drove in because they were able to. Now, saying LeBron's game wouldn't perfectly translate to the 90s is not an insult because I think he'd still be an amazing player and in the conversation for one of the greatest players ever. But I just think it would have went differently than it did in today's NBA. I think his playstyle would have shifted more towards a Magic Johnson type playstyle than what we see now, and that's not a bad thing. People are gonna assume I'm talking down on LeBron. I'm just giving my honest opinion on how I think his game would translate, and I think he would be more of a pass first, but not like Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was really pass first because LeBron can still score. I think LeBron is a great scorer. Obviously, he's been scoring over 25 points in the past a lot of years. And the difference between LeBron and Magic is LeBron's a lot more athletic than Magic Johnson, which is obviously a huge thing, something that could advance him even more than what we saw in Magic's game, because LeBron's court vision is really up there with Magic's. I put Magic slightly higher, but LeBron had great court vision and great pass accuracy, which people confuse as being the same thing. They're not the same thing. Court vision is seeing open players. Pass accuracy is being able to hit them in the right spot. Very, very important. And if I had to say, I would say a prime LeBron James in the 90s would average something like 24 points, 13 assists, and 9 boards with a steal and a block. But obviously, this is just my assumption, my guess. It doesn't really mean much. But that's what I see a prime LeBron doing. And like I said, it's not an insult. But if we're talking about predicting rings and MVPs, it'd be nearly impossible because there's so many factors that would go into that, like what team you're on, how many scores you have, if you're going to win have a champion level team. But what I will say is that I think Michael Jordan still would have ran the 90s. I just think he's the greatest winner of all time. That's what I'm going to say. Some people say he's too soft for that era, but that's nonsense. LeBron would do his thing, just in a different way, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Rundacourt family. That's it for me. I'm out. Peace.